My girlfriend said, "You don't mind if I keep the house keys, right? We're still friends." I replied, "Of course I trust you." Then I installed new smart locks connected to my phone. When she tried to enter the next night with her new boyfriend standing beside her. I'm 29, work in tech consulting, and until 3 weeks ago, I thought I had my life pretty well sorted. I had a girlfriend of 4 years named Rachel, a decent apartment in the city that I'd been renting for the past 2 years, a solid career trajectory, and what I believed was a partnership built on trust and mutual respect. Turns out, I was living in a fantasy. Rachel and I met through mutual friends at a rooftop party back in 2021. She was charming, ambitious, working her way up in marketing, and we just clicked. We moved in together after about 18 months, splitting rent and expenses fairly down the middle. I handled most of the bills since I made slightly more, but she contributed to groceries and utilities. It felt balanced. It felt right. Then came March 15th, a Thursday I'll never forget. I came home early from a client meeting that got canceled. I walked into our apartment around 2 p.m., expecting it to be empty since Rachel usually worked until at least 5. Instead, I heard voices coming from our bedroom. Not just voices, laughter. His laugh was deep, unfamiliar. Hers was that specific giggle she used to do with me during our first year together, the one that had slowly disappeared from our relationship. I stood there in the hallway for what felt like an hour but was probably 30 seconds. My brain was doing mental gymnastics, trying to rationalize what I was hearing. Maybe it was a TV show. Maybe she was on a video call with a coworker. Maybe I was having a stroke and hallucinating. Then I heard her say, clear as day, "We should probably get dressed before he gets home." He usually texts first, though, so we're good for another hour at least. Something in me went cold. Not hot with rage, cold, calculated. I pulled out my phone and started recording audio. Then I turned around, walked back out the front door as quietly as I'd entered, and sat in my car in the parking garage for 20 minutes, just breathing and planning. When I came back up, I made sure to slam the door extra loud. "Rachel, I'm home early," I called out, all fake cheerfulness. She came out of the bedroom 5 minutes later, hair slightly messed up, wearing different clothes than she'd left in that morning. "Oh, hey. That's unusual. Everything okay?" "Yeah, meeting got canceled. Thought I'd surprise you." I watched her face carefully. She was good, I'll give her that. Barely a flicker of panic. "That's sweet. I was just taking a quick nap. Work's been exhausting." "A nap? In the middle of the day?" "Yeah, I took a half day, feeling a bit under the weather." I nodded slowly. "Want me to make you some tea?" "No, I'm okay. Actually, I should probably get back to resting." That's when I noticed the second coffee mug on the kitchen counter. We only owned 4 mugs total, and 2 were in the dishwasher. I'd used one that morning. This was the 4th. "Who's here, Rachel?" Her face went white. "What?" "No one. Why would you—" "There's someone in our bedroom right now. I heard you two when I first came in." The silence that followed was deafening. Then, like a bad movie, a guy emerged from the bedroom, adjusting his shirt. He was tall, probably mid-30s, wearing business casual attire. He had the audacity to extend his hand. "Hey man, I'm Derek. This is awkward." I just stared at his hand until he lowered it. Rachel started crying immediately. "Jake, I can explain. This isn't what it looks like." "Really?" "Because it looks like you've been fucking someone in our bed while I'm at work. What am I missing?" Derek cleared his throat. "I'm gonna go—" "No," I said firmly. "Stay. You're part of this conversation now." What followed was 90 minutes of the worst conversation of my life. Turns out Rachel and Derek had been seeing each other for 7 months. 7. They met at a conference in October. He was a senior director at some firm, married with 2 kids, though Rachel claimed she didn't know he was married at first, which was obviously bullshit. The thing that killed me wasn't even the cheating itself. It was how she tried to frame it. "You've been so distant lately," she said, tears streaming. "You work all the time. We haven't had a real conversation in months." I felt invisible. "So you decided to solve that by sleeping with someone else? In our home? In our bed?" "It just happened, Jake. I didn't plan for this." 7 months doesn't just happen, Rachel. That's planning. That's lying every single day for more than half a year. Derek tried to interject. "Look, I care about Rachel. This isn't some casual thing for me. You're married. It's complicated. It's really not." I told them both to leave. Rachel started panicking then, realizing I was serious. "This is my home too, Jake. You can't just kick me out. Actually, the lease is in my name. You're not legally entitled to be here. But fine. You want to stay? I'll leave." I packed a bag and went to my buddy Marcus's place. He let me crash on his couch, no questions asked at first, though I told him everything later that night over whiskey. Update 1, Rachel texted me 47 times that first night. I counted. The messages ranged from, "I'm so sorry," to "You're overreacting," to "We need to talk about this like adults." I didn't respond to any of them. The next day, Friday, she called me at work. I let it go to voicemail. She called 6 more times. Finally, I texted her, "I need space. We'll talk about logistics this weekend." On Saturday morning, she showed up at Marcus's apartment. I have no idea how she found me there. Probably called my friends until someone broke. When I opened the door, she looked genuinely distraught. Dark circles under her eyes, hair unbrushed, wearing the same clothes from the day before. "Jake, please. Can we just talk? Really talk?" Against my better judgment, I agreed. We went to a coffee shop nearby, sat outside despite the cold. "I made a mistake," she started. "The biggest mistake of my life. But I love you. I want to fix this." "You love me?" I laughed bitterly. "You've been cheating on me for over half a year, Rachel. You brought him into our home, into our bed. Where was the love in any of that?" I know it's unforgivable, but people make mistakes. Relationships survive infidelity all the time. We can do counseling. I'll cut off all contact with Derek. I'll do whatever it takes." I looked at her for a long moment. Part of me wanted to believe her. 4 years is a long time. We'd talked about marriage, about kids, about building a life together. But then I remembered her laugh from the bedroom. I remembered her saying, "We're good for another hour at least," calculating how much time they had before I came home. "No," I said simply. "We're done. I'll give you 2 weeks to move out. After that, I'm changing the locks." She reached across the table to grab my hand. "Jake, don't do this, please. We can work through this." I pulled my hand back. "There's nothing to work through. You destroyed this relationship, not me, you." She left crying, and I felt nothing but numbness. Update 2. The 2 weeks were hell. Rachel moved in with a friend, not Derek. Apparently he'd gone back to his wife to work on things, which I found darkly hilarious. She came by the apartment several times to pack her stuff, and each visit turned into another attempt at reconciliation. "I miss you," she'd say, folding clothes into boxes. "You should have thought about that before." Everyone makes mistakes, Jake. You're not perfect either. I never cheated on you. I never betrayed your trust. My imperfections don't justify what you did. On the 13th day, she asked me directly, "Can I keep a set of keys? Just in case I forgot something or if we need to talk." I almost laughed. Why would you need keys if you're not living here? I don't know. It just feels so final, you know? Giving back the keys. We spent 4 years together. We're still friends, right? Friends? I repeated. Rachel, friends don't do what you did. She got defensive then. So that's it? 4 years, and I'm just cut out of your life completely? That's pretty cold, Jake. You don't get to make me feel guilty for having boundaries. She sighed, tears welling up again. Fine. But you don't mind if I keep the house keys, right? We're still friends, even if you don't want to admit it. Maybe we can grab coffee sometimes. I looked at her, this person I'd loved and trusted, and realized I didn't know her at all. Of course, I said calmly. I trust you. She smiled then, actually smiled, like she'd won something. Thank you. That means a lot. The next day, I contacted a smart lock company and had them install a complete system. Front door, back door, even the balcony door, all connected to my phone. I could see every time someone tried to enter, could lock and unlock remotely, and received notifications for any activity. The whole setup cost me about $800, but it was worth every penny. Rachel's 2 weeks ended on a Wednesday. Thursday morning, I got a notification at 11:47 p.m. Someone had tried to use a key at my front door, then again at 11:49, then 11:51. My phone buzzed with an incoming call. Rachel. I didn't answer. Instead, I pulled up the camera feed I'd also installed. There she was, standing at my door with Derek beside her. Derek, the married guy who'd supposedly gone back to his wife. They were both dressed nice, like they'd been out to dinner. She tried the key again. The notification popped up. Invalid key detected. I watched through the camera as she pulled out her phone and called me again. This time, I answered. Jake? Jake, something's wrong with my key. It's not working. That's because I changed the locks. Silence. Then, what? Why would you do that? Because you don't live here anymore, Rachel. Why are you trying to get into my apartment at midnight? I forgot some things. I thought I could grab them real quick. With Derek? You brought Derek to my apartment? More silence. She hadn't realized I could see them. Are you watching us right now? I have cameras. And yes, I can see both of you standing there. Derek leaned in close to her, whispering something. She pushed him away slightly. Jake, this isn't what it looks like. It looks like you kept my keys thinking you could still access my place whenever you wanted. It looks like you and the married guy you were cheating on me with thought you could just waltz into my home in the middle of the night. What am I missing? Her voice got desperate. We were just in the neighborhood. I really did forget some stuff. Why are you being so paranoid? I'm not paranoid. I'm smart. There's a difference. Don't come back here, Rachel. If you forgot something, text me and I'll leave it outside. But you're never getting access to this apartment again. I hung up and watched them stand there for another 3 minutes, arguing with each other. Finally, Derek pulled her away, and they left. Update 3: Marcus nearly died laughing when I told him the next day. You actually let her keep the old keys just so you could catch her? That's some next-level petty, man. I respect it. It wasn't about being petty. I just knew she wasn't done. People like that always think they deserve one more chance, one more opportunity to manipulate the situation. Rachel texted me over the weekend, a long essay about how I was cruel and vindictive, and she deserved better treatment after 4 years together. I didn't respond. Then, on Monday, I got a call from Derek's wife. Apparently, she'd found out about the affair. I'm guessing from their failed attempt to break into my apartment, since Rachel's friend must have told someone who told someone else. Small world. I just wanted to thank you, she said. Her voice was tired but steady. For not covering for them. A lot of people would have just let it slide. I'm sorry you're going through this, I told her. Me too. But better to know than to keep living a lie, right? Right. She told me she was filing for divorce, that Derek had apparently been cheating for years with different women, and Rachel was just the latest. I felt bad for her. She had kids to worry about, a whole life to untangle. My situation was messy, but at least I didn't have children caught in the middle. 3 weeks later, I ran into Rachel at a grocery store. She looked terrible, exhausted, hair thrown up in a messy bun, no makeup. She saw me and immediately tried to walk the other way, but I'd already made eye contact. Rachel. She stopped, turned around slowly. Jake, hi. How are you? She laughed, but it was hollow. How do you think? Derek went back to his wife for real this time. I'm living with my friend in her one-bedroom. My family keeps asking why we broke up and I can't tell them the truth. Everything's just great. I should have felt satisfaction in that moment, but I just felt tired. I'm sorry things didn't work out with Derek. No, you're not. You're right, I'm not. She looked at me then, really looked at me. Do you think we could ever? No, I cut her off. We couldn't. Take care of yourself, Rachel. I walked away and didn't look back. Final update. It's been 4 months since everything imploded. I'm writing this final update because people keep asking what happened after that grocery store encounter. And honestly, there's been enough distance now that I can talk about it without feeling that sharp edge of anger. Rachel tried to reach out 2 more times after that day. Once through a mutual friend, asking if we could talk things through properly, and once directly via email with a long letter about how she'd been going to therapy and realized how badly she'd messed up. I didn't respond to either. Some bridges, once burned, should stay that way. I heard through the grapevine that she and Derek tried to make things work for about 6 weeks after his wife kicked him out, but it fell apart pretty quickly. Turns out, a relationship built on lies and betrayal doesn't have a great foundation. Who knew? Derek's now paying child support and living in a studio apartment across town. Rachel moved back in with her parents in the suburbs, which at 31 must be a special kind of humiliation. As for Derek's wife, her name is Jennifer, by the way, she actually reached out one more time about 2 months ago. Not for anything heavy, just to let me know the divorce was finalized and she was doing okay. Her kids were adjusting. She'd started dating someone new, and she said she felt like herself again for the first time in years. We grabbed coffee once, just 2 people who'd been collateral damage in other people's selfishness, and it was actually nice. We're not close or anything, but there's a mutual respect there. I've started dating again. Nothing serious yet, but I'm open to it in a way I wasn't right after the breakup. Therapy helped a lot with that. Helped me understand that Rachel's betrayal said everything about her character and nothing about my worth. My therapist also pointed out that the smart lock thing, while effective, was maybe a sign I needed to work on trusting my instincts earlier. She's probably right. The apartment still feels like mine in the best way possible. I repainted the bedroom, got new furniture, basically erased any trace of Rachel from the space. The smart locks are still there, and honestly, I'm keeping them. Not because I'm paranoid, but because they're convenient as hell and give me peace of mind. Marcus is still my best friend, still makes jokes about the whole thing, and still lets me know I'm welcome on his couch anytime I need it. I took him out for an expensive dinner last month as a thank you for everything he did during those first brutal weeks. Work's been good. I got promoted in July, which came with a significant raise. I've been putting money away, thinking about maybe buying a place instead of renting. Building something that's entirely mine, you know? Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I'd never come home early that day. How long would Rachel have kept lying? Would she have eventually told me, or would I have found out some other way? Would we have gotten engaged, planned a wedding, maybe even had kids before the truth came out? The thought makes me sick. But mostly, I don't think about her at all anymore. She's become a cautionary tale I tell myself when I'm tempted to ignore red flags or rationalize suspicious behavior. Trust your gut. Protect your peace. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for having standards. Someone asked me recently if I regret how I handled everything, if I wish I'd been more forgiving or given her another chance. The answer is no, not even a little bit. Rachel made her choices every single day for 7 months. She looked me in the eye every single night and lied. She planned around my schedule to betray me in our home. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. Multiple choices, actually, repeated over and over. I did what I needed to do to protect myself and move forward. The smart locks were just a practical solution to someone who'd shown me she didn't respect boundaries. If that makes me petty or cold, I'm fine with that. I sleep well at night, knowing I stood up for myself. Life's pretty good now. I wake up without anxiety. I come home to a space that's peaceful and entirely my own. I've got good friends, a solid career, and the freedom to build whatever future I want without someone actively sabotaging it behind my back. That's all I've got. Thanks for reading and for all the supportive messages. For anyone going through something similar, trust yourself, protect your peace, and don't let anyone convince you that having standards makes you the bad guy. You deserve better than someone who treats your trust like it's disposable.